Hi everyone, Nozzy87 again here with the Open World PC Gaming at EGX. I'm joined with David Martin from Greenmangaming, who is going to talk to us a little bit about Stable Orbit. So David, what exactly is Stable Orbit?
So Stable Orbit is a game where you're tasked with creating the next International Space Station. So it's set in 2034, kind of 5 years after the International Space Station is due to be deorbited, and you're kind of tasked with kind of sending this core module up and kind of adding parts onto that. And it's essentially, imagine kind of SimCity in space.
Oh, that's cool. Right, so what sort of, you say SimCity in space, is it like, is there more than just you on this space station, or are you just on the outside of the space station just looking into it sort of thing?
So initially you're starting off with adding these different components on it. You're kind of acting as a space god, I guess, kind of adding these different parts onto your core module. And at the very basic level of the game, you're expecting these space shuttles to come up from Earth to deliver kind of astronauts and food and supplies. But you want to get to a point where you're kind of building harponics base to kind of create your own food and being essentially self-sufficient in space.
So do you feel the developers taken quite a bit of inspiration, or a little bit of inspiration, from the Martian film with Matt Damon? Because that's very similar to that sort of concept. I think a lot of people wanting to sort of experience being in space or on a planet and trying to look after themselves, build resources, and then obviously develop as they go along.
Yeah, so I have to ask him about the Martian connection, but because I know he was always quite keen on kind of creating almost like a realistic International Space Station kind of simulator, I guess. And I think the Martian was kind of based on around a lot of like, could this actually happen? I kind of looked into the science of it, so I think he did a lot of that. But it's kind of more about almost like an economy management. So you got all these different things to worry about. You got oxygen, you got food, you got water, power, heat, and all these other things you need to worry about all the time. So if you start building all these laboratories and like solar panels, we haven't got radiators to kind of deal with the heat that builds up, then you could like burn out some of your kind of solar arrays, and they could like set on fire, and you've kind of get yourself in a little bit of trouble.
So is there a final end point to the game, or is it you just keep going and going and going, or is there a finality at the end of it?
So initially it's just kind of build what you can, kind of go as crazy as possible. The game's going to be launching in early access in October, right. So it's going to be kind of consistently added on until the game reaches final launch. But like SimCity, there's no sort of particular end goal. It's like how far can you get, how crazy can you get with your towns and cities and things like that. And of course there's going to be like disasters like meteor showers, or maybe your shuttle can't launch from Earth to get to space to get supplies to you. So it's all about how you deal with that. And there's also like a rewind system in the game as well. So if like almost like Forza, where if something happens as a disaster and you weren't prepared for it, you can skip back like to 2 weeks or like a month before to see if you can try and kind of do something different to react to that.
So the events that are going to happen to you in the game can happen as far as 2 months previous. They can start developing at that point and then finally come around.
Yeah.
At the
so
end
like, if a meteor shower was to suddenly happen, you go, oh god, I wasn't prepared for that at all. Let's actually go back and see if I've got enough money to start counteracting that or dealing with that. But that's just a kind of initial thing to kind of help ease people into the game. If the community feel like we actually want something more hardcore, maybe that could be removed, or there's options to also do like an Iron Man mode, where like you can't like eject any of your modules and you have to try and build something first time and kind of make it as crazy as possible.
So we talked about there's pretty much is there one developer for this game?
Yeah, so it's Jim Offerman, who was previously the lead PC programmer on games like Deus Ex Human Revolution and Tomb Raider, and he decided to go indie and build this sort of crazy game all by himself. So a lot of the textures and kind of things at the moment are all kind of they're not particularly final, but he had this sort of vision of trying to do something, and he kind of started tinkering around it in Unity, and now it's kind of developing into a game.
So what has your role from Greenmangaming been to help him push this game forward and give him a platform really to present it on?
So Greenmangaming has started kind of primarily known as a digital games retailer, but we've moved into the publishing market as well. So all the games we've got here today are games that we've kind of went out, found, and started publishing. And we will kind of act as a traditional publisher to Jim, kind of finding kind of appropriate marketing kind of things for him, kind of helping create trailers and assets so he can carry on working on the game, and all the marketing side we can kind of help him handle that. But again, we kind of get everything signed off with him in advance, kind of work with him and kind of take his vision for a game out into a wider market.